Makes sense. Yes, poor babies. Mm-hmm. That's all we're gonna say. Poor baby. Bless your heart. Y'all know what that means, don't it? Okay, hold on. Harmonious. If you just joined, I did it. We just did an exercise, a breathing exercise. So I'll go over it a little bit at the end. I'll go over it. And I have one more mindfulness exercise that I want to share with you that you all can use to help to calm the amygdala and strengthen your PFC. Okay. So again, those moments where you were about to freak out over something because your amygdala is telling you to do so, your prefrontal cortex is jumping in to try to check out the situation first to see if this is an actual threat. That's what the PFC is for. So what does it do? Again, logic center, it evaluates the situation. You're welcome, Harmonious. It evaluates the situation and decides, is this something we need to panic over? Should I really panic? Is this really going to affect me right now? You heard something on the news, it was a blurb, and you go into freak out mode. But then the PFC might become like, wait a minute, does that have anything to do with you right now? Is that going to change your circumstance right now? So that's PFC helping you to evaluate the situation before we go and get hysterical over it, before we start worrying and causing all kinds of problems and physical problems for ourselves. Let's just wait and see. That's our PFC. Amygdala is the drama queen. Thank you. That is Amy. She's the drama queen. Okay. So sometimes when you freak out over something and then you sit back like, oh, you know what? That wasn't even that big. Blame it on Amy and then learn how to control her. That's Amy. That's amygdala. I hope that makes sense. It is Amy. That's Amy. So now you got a new name for her. It makes sense to me in my head. I got to do something that makes sense to me. My PFC don't even kick in. I'm ready. Yeah, so you're usually ready to explode because Amy, she about that life. Amy is ready. She's on go at all times, especially if she had to grow up in a situation where she was activated a lot. You know, depending on childhood circumstances and whatever traumas or experiences you've had, that amygdala gets turned on often. And sometimes she's overactive. So even when the threat is not really a threat, Amy is on go. She what? Nuck if you buck. She's ready. So we got to learn how to let's breathe. 478. Calm down. Find a space. Let PFC take over because that's our logic center, right? And she does do too much. I don't know who Dr. Karen is. So let's keep going about the prefrontal cortex. Again, helps us to solve problems, helps with our impulse control, and again, emotional regulation, right? Help us to calm down, tells amygdala, hey, sit down, I got this. That is not a threat. It's not a snake, that's a stick. It's not a snake, that's a rope. Or they're not even talking to you, that's not about you, just calm down. That's what the PFC will help us do. It helps our body to relax and to just keep moving, just keep going on. Now they do, like I said, they battle. It's a daily battle with them because amygdala, Amy, she acts fast. And the PFC thinks a little slow because it has to evaluate the situation. It's like they have a little checkboard with them and they're checking it off. They're looking to see, okay, does it look, is it as long as a snake? Okay, maybe it is. So it's checking it off. It moves a little bit slower. Okay. But your amygdala's job is to protect you. Sometimes, though, she will overreact. The PFC, prefrontal cortex job, is to fact check and to decide if there's actually a threat. Okay, so your PFC is working well. Here's when you know it's working well. You can pause and you can evaluate before reacting. That's when you know it's working well. You can calm yourself down from stress and anxiety. So it's working. And you don't let fear control your decisions. Our PFC is working. Now, when it's not working, we react emotionally, before we even think about it or think it through, we catastrophize. Y'all know that what that is, right? We catastrophize everything. Everything is the worst thing ever. And yes, we definitely need both of them. Or if it's not working properly, you struggle to calm down after some stress or after some anxiety. But you can train it. Um, excuse me, you can strengthen that PFC. I'm sorry, guys. With a high of I gotta take this alert off my, what's that thing called? Alexa. But we can strengthen the PFC. Who is this coming? Hey, hello, Alex. Alex. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, hey, I was about to take you off because I didn't hear you.
I'm sorry. I just woke up, Auntie.
It's okay. Look, well, I invited you when I wanted somebody to join for an exercise. We kind of moved past that part. Okay, so let
Oh,
me
okay.
finish. It's okay. Go back to sleep. Rest. Because
No, I
guess
got
what?
work to do.
Quality sleep strengthens your prefrontal cortex. So I'm
It
gonna take you
does,
now, and I'm
but
gonna talk
nursing
about that.
school.
Right. All right, future nurse. Talk to you later.
All right, Auntie.
All right. Okay. So, but she was asleep, which is cool because again, quality sleep helps to strengthen our prefrontal cortex. Mindfulness, like the one that we did, the breathing exercise that we did earlier, helps strengthen that PFC. CBT, again, another therapy that helps to reframe the anxious thought, give us time to think something through, to kind of evaluate the situation, if you will. And then exercise. Exercise helps to boost the flow of oxygen to the PFC. I know, I love CBT. That's what I do in my practice. But yeah, exercise helps to the boost the oxygen flow to the PFC and helps to improve its functioning in that way. Quality sleep gives us time to recharge and to process those emotions. Um, and a healthy diet. They say omega 3s and leafy greens are some good brain supporting things that you should have in your diet. So those all help to support the brain health and to strengthen your prefrontal cortex. Because if not, baby, Amy, and if you just joined, Amy is amygdala, our little alarm system that goes off with any sign of a threat. It doesn't have to be real or imagined, she's going to go off. She's the drama queen, as someone else said. And the PFC, the prefrontal cortex, they battle it out because Amy is quick on her feet. PFC is a little slow because they have to evaluate things first. They got to see, check the situation out. Is this really worth it? Is that what I think it is? You know, that's what PFC is doing. But we do need both of them. We need Amy because Amy helps to protect us. We need her. We need her to say what's what. But at the same time, we need to be able to be rational, think things through, and see if it's a real threat or are we over responding or overreacting to a situation. All right. Thank you all for the likes. So those two are the main two I wanted to talk about because I kind of want to get into some of those key chemicals that are released when we exercise. Exercise, we know, is healthy for us, good for us physically and emotionally, because it does release some key chemicals that our brain needs to either calm down that amygdala. Um, I'm sorry, I was trying to read that comment. To calm down the amygdala or to strengthen our PFC. So I do want to get into that. I will, before I go into it, just a couple of other mentions. This will be in the post that I'll make tomorrow with the notes for tonight. Some of the other parts of the brain that are key players will be the hippocampus, that's our memory keeper, and the hypothalamus and the brainstem. So just to go quickly about those three. Up your alley? Awesome. The hippocampus, like I said, that's our memory keeper. It stores and processes our memories, especially those that are related to fear, right? If you had a past traumatic experience, your hippocampus remembers it, and it warns you next time you encounter something that's similar. Right. So let's say, for example, you were bitten by a dog as a kid. Your hippocampus remembers, and it makes sure that you feel anxious every time you're around dogs, even if it's years later, because it stores and processes those memories, especially the memories that are associated with fear. All right. So that's what you need to know about that. The hypothalamus, that is our stress regulator. So it kind of controls our, not kind of, but it controls our stress hormones like cortisol or adrenaline. So it signals your body to either speed up, fight or flight, or to slow down, calm yourself. It was my hippocampus yesterday. Okay, that adrenaline, right? That stress response. So an example, let's say your boss sends you an email and it says, we need to talk. And immediately you start feeling something. Oh, what is this going to be about? What is that? That's the hypothalamus. I can't get it out sometimes. The hypothalamus, the stress regulator, it immediately make you feel like, oh shoot, what happened? What's going on? And it's just an email. We don't even know, but that's our stress regulator. Let's see. The last one, did I have? Oh, I think those are the ones I wanted to talk about. But the main two players are on the screen, that amygdala and the prefrontal cortex. No problem. Uppity. No problem. This will be saved and I'll repost it. And I'll also have the notes here probably next week. One thing though about that cortisol and the adrenaline, so I can kind of drive that home. The cortisol, which is released by the hypothalamus, right? That stress regulator. The cortisol we know is a stress hormone. We've heard that, and usually it goes right around here, right? In that belly area. If you're practicing some of these calming strategies, the deep breathing, the mindfulness, even drinking certain herbal teas and herbal remedies help to calm your cortisol, that stress response. No, I don't, Sean. I don't teach neuroscience. I am a licensed professional counselor and I have a doctorate in psychology, but I don't teach neuroscience. I always find it interesting. And being a therapist, I need to know some of that information anyway, so I can better help, my clients. But I don't teach courses on neuroscience. Somebody does because I saw their video. And if I see that person again, maybe I can share with you that creator's name. I don't know it offhand though. What if the anxiety did not come until after the removal? Well, let me say this first. I'm not a doctor in that way, a medical doctor. But I don't know how long ago the ovaries were removed, but a lot of times after that happens, we go into menopause. And with menopause can come, or perimenopause, whatever you want to call it, with that can come a lot of mood changes. So it could be associated with that. That could be something you speak to your doctor about to see if there are any hormones that you need to take or anything else you need to do. But that is definitely known to happen with women of a certain age, or if you've been medically induced into menopause or perimenopause, that definitely can happen for sure. Hello, that happens. Catch it, okay? All kinds of things happen after that, if you get what I'm saying. All right. And then still, even if that's the thing, oh, bye, Shaw. It's okay. See you later. Here's the thing though, even if that is the reason why you're experiencing anxiety and it wasn't an issue before, there's still these mindfulness activities, the breathing techniques, you can still do this and you can still kind of calm yourself. Why would a person be okay medically induced? When I say that, I'm saying because maybe they had hysterectomy or a partial hysterectomy for whatever reason that they had to have that, and because then that was done, you may prematurely go into menopause even before the normal age of menopause. You may go into menopause, so that's why I said it that way. Not like they intentionally did it to put you in menopause, but as a result of having that one thing done for something else, then you may. Okay, for ovarian cancer. Because a lot of women will do that. Either if they actually have it and they have to do it, or if you see some cells, the doctor sees some cells and say, hey, we better do this so that we don't go that far up them steps with the cancer, the CA word, Now that part I don't know. I think I don't want to speak on that. Fern, I'm sorry. Fern, I'm reading yours. I don't know now because I'm not a medical doctor. I'm just speaking on the things that I do know about as far as the hysterectomy, um, and how that early hysterectomies or what have you might have you start menopause maybe sooner than you normally would have, naturally. And when you go into menopause, I'm speaking specifically to this, there can be some mood changes like anxiety, like depression. You can feel some of those things. So that's what I was speaking specifically to. Okay. I hope that makes sense to everybody or whoever had those particular questions. But even still, if you're experiencing it and it's kind of out of the way or out of the norm of what you've normally experienced through life, you can still use some of these skills to help. Depression, nothing help. Um, is that Patroy? Patroy? I don't like making recommendations for medication. I would want you to speak to whoever's treating you, whoever has prescribed that med for you. Okay. I always go to CBT, the cognitive behavioral therapy. Another therapy intervention is EMDR. You can try that. Look those people up in your area. Give me 1 second. But I don't want to recommend medication. Let me pull this up. And I don't know where you are, but if you, hold on, if you search EMDR, oh my gosh, everything wants to move slow. If you search EMDR in your area, then you will likely be able to find a therapist that is certified and certified in EMDR and practice it. It's eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. That is a technique that has helped a lot of people with depression and anxiety and even some traumas. Um, Look into that, but I don't want to make a comment on what type of medicine will work. Okay, yeah, look at Arkansas. Oh, locked. Leisha, yes, yes, mood changes can definitely be associated. Talk to your doctor and find out what else, could be going on, but it could definitely be associated. hmm Oh, well, if you're already on one track, maybe you want to stay with the EMDR instead of doing hypno and EMDR. Yeah, just some suggestions. Again, I don't tell you what medicine to take. I'll never do that. All right, because I want you to come back and say, "Well, Dr. Candace said, mm-mm, mm-mm. Dr. Candace ain't say that. Don't you put that on me." But okay, let's get back to where I was going next, y'all. Is this good? Everybody good on this? I know we kind of got a little bit off, but it was still related. So the last thing I wanted to talk about was okay, good. The last thing I want to talk about were the key chemicals that are released when we exercise. So I do say that we should exercise, even if it's just 30 minutes a day or however you do that. Um, just do some type of exercise because that will definitely help to regulate our anxiety. It releases those key chemicals that helps to calm the amygdala and to support our overall brain function. I want to see if I can turn my screen and if y'all, let me see if it'll do it. Will it do it? Okay, not that. Mm, I told y'all. Ooh, is that it? Boom. Okay, can y'all see that? All right, perfect. So, and if you can screenshot it, go ahead and screenshot it if you need to. I'm just going to talk about it a little bit. But these are some key chemicals when you exercise that are released that helps to calm your amygdala and support your overall brain health. So endorphins, we've heard of these before. These are our natural painkillers. What do? They act as the natural pain relievers and they boost our mood. They reduce the stress and discomfort by blocking our pain receptors. And it also promotes a sense of euphoria, kind of like that runner's high that some people get. And it helps the amygdala by lowering the stress response. It also, like I said, decreases the pain sensitivity, which helps to counteract anxiety-related brain activity. That's what the endorphins do. I'm going to try to go through these kind of quickly because I don't want to bore you with the neuro part of this. But dopamine, that's another one that we've heard a lot about. That's our motivation and reward chemical. It boosts motivation, pleasure, and focus. It helps to regulate mood and decision making. It also supports learning and positive reinforcement. So imagine this. You're in therapy. You're talking about dealing with this anxiety that you're experiencing, right? And you're in a CBT type of therapy. If the therapist tells you, okay, I want you to exercise a few times a week, this would definitely help increase your dopamine because guess what? The dopamine supports learning and positive reinforcement. It motivates you. It boosts that motivation and that focus so you will be able to get more out of the therapy. You understand where I'm going with that? So we need them hand in hand. They work together. It keeps your brain engaged and balanced instead of just fixated on that threat. And it also encourages positive behaviors to help manage that anxiety. So in the beginning, you don't want to. I just don't want to go outside. I don't want to go to the gym. I don't feel like walking. That's how you feel. But guess what? You do it anyway. You have to activate the behavior. Once you activate the behavior and you get that dopamine flowing, now it's boosting your motivation to continue. You can't wait on the motivation to happen. Waiting on the motivation will just have you waiting, right? You got to just make the move. Just do it. Don't think about it. Just do it. Once you do it, then you will start to see that you're becoming more motivated to keep doing it because you're activating that chemical in your brain. All right. And then we have the serotonin. We've heard about, yep, just do it. Nike had it right all those years ago. We have the serotonin. We heard of serotonin many times. That's our mood stabilizer. It regulates our mood, our sleep, and our emotions. It plays a key role in reducing depression and anxiety symptoms. And it helps with that impulse control as well as emotional regulation. So again, getting out there, becoming active, moving about will definitely help you to decrease the depressive and anxiety symptoms and to regulate that mood. Serotonin calms the overactive fear response that we may have, and it supports the PFC by supporting rational thinking and emotional stability. Good. Hey, Mud. Welcome. I'm glad you found me too. All right, so that was endorphins, dopamine, and serotonin. Key chemicals. You can release these just by doing a little bit of exercise, right? Now, I'm going to move this first one. I had to put them on two different ones, right? Move this one. We're going to talk about these last two. We'll talk about these last two. Can you see those? Okay. I'm trying to make sure you can see the whole screen. All right. We'll talk about these last two and then we'll be able to end after this. We'll do one more exercise and then we'll end. So that was the endorphins, dopamine, and serotonin. Now take a screenshot of this one. These are the other key chemicals, the GABA and the brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF. So GABA, you may have heard of. This is a natural relaxer. It acts as the brain's brake pedals. It slows down the overactivity. It prevents excessive fear responses. You know what Amy be doing? Amygdala. It reduces those excessive fear responses. And it creates a sense of calm and relaxation. Some of you may have even heard of or seen GABA, what do you call those, supplements in the stores. I'm not prescribing or suggesting. I'm just saying they have supplements out there. If you are interested in researching it for yourself and seeing what it's about, if you decide you want to do that, make sure you talk to your provider, your doctor, before taking anything. But I've heard good things about them. Some people who just have some mild anxiety and want to calm down, they may take some of those GABA supplements. Oh, you're welcome. Was that balance? Thank you. So how does GABA help the amygdala? Again, it tells our nervous system to chill out. Chill out. What did we learn about Amy, the amygdala? She is on go. She's ready to pop off at any moment. It doesn't even have to be a real threat. But GABA, it helps the nervous system to chill out. It also prevents that spiraling anxious thought that may lead to, panic. That's what GABA does. And then the brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, it helps the neurons to grow, repair, and to connect. It strengthens the brain structures like the hippocampus. We talked about that earlier, which regulates, the anxiety. And it supports long-term stress resilience. That's what BDNF does. Now, how does it help the amygdala? It encourages brain adaptability, or what you may have heard of as neuroplasticity. It reduces our overactivity, again, in that fear response pathways. Because you remember, our brain communicates with our body through these neural pathways, right? By these chemicals being sent off. So BDNF helps to reduce that overactivity in fear processing. All right. So the best types of exercises, I hope you can see that at the bottom, like 30 to 45 minutes, 3 to 5 times a day. Not a day, honey, because I wouldn't do it. 3 to 5 times a week would be good. It'll be good for any of us to try to do. Aerobics is really good for that, like running, dancing, cycling. Even if you didn't go to the gym, I would love for you to get out of the house and do stuff. But on this app that you're looking at right now, there are live videos of people doing these like dance workout things. Join those. Do that for about 30 or 45 minutes. You don't have to be perfect at dancing. Just move. Just get the body moving. But those are best for releasing those endorphins and the serotonin, aerobic exercise. Strength training, like the weightlifting and what do you call that? Resistant bands. Those are good for helping to regulate your dopamine and your GABA. And then if you do something like yoga or Tai Chi, that is excellent for boosting your GABA and calming your stress responses. All right. So 30 to 45 minutes, 3 to 5 times a week. That's really ideal for maximum brain benefits. But even if you just did like a 10-minute walk a day, that can even boost your mood and reduce your stress. All right. Can I turn this around now? Everybody got a screenshot of that part too? Give me a thumbs up and let me know so I can flip it back around. Not that I can see you, but at least you don't just have to be listening to a voice. Oh, okay. I see. Y'all ready for me? Now let's see. I gotta remember how to do it. Did I get it? Boom, I'm back. Hey. All right. So I hope that was good. I hope everybody was able to get what you needed out of this. Even if you came in late, it doesn't matter. When you came in, I hope you got something. I normally go live on Tuesday. This is just the second course. So I come on Tuesdays at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Okay. Oh, Elle, you just got here. 6 o'clock Eastern Standard. Yeah, I said it right. Okay. Now, one more activity, and let's see, how can we do this? You're welcome, Turtle. I want to do this other activity. This is a mindfulness activity as well. Again, these mindfulness activities help with the GABA. It helps to reduce our stress response. You're welcome. Elle, so you're usually at work. I'm going to try to keep recording them. I have to break it into two because I can't put the full hour, but I'll do a part 1 and part 2 and post it up, by the end of the week. If I can do it tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow. You know what? I'm somebody else asked me about doing YouTube. I may do that. Mud mama, I might do that.